Hey guys, welcome to reading. Okay, so in reading we've been talking about fables. That's what our story is this week. Wolf Wolf is a fable. That's its genre. I know genre is a weird word, but genre just means what kind of a book is it. And remember, we've had those non-fiction stories that are true. We've had fantasy stories that are those crazy made-up ones. We've had realistic fiction that are made-up stories but could be true. And then this week we have fables. And there were some things that fables all have. For one thing, fables are made-up stories. They have animals or things that act like people, which was that personification. Remember, they have personification where everything might act like a person, like the animals talk and wear clothes. And then the most important thing that a fable does is it tries to teach a lesson. Yeah, or a moral. Sometimes it's called a moral. But a lesson is just something that is trying to teach you. So we are going to read a couple fables or look at some fables, and we're going to see if we can figure out the lesson. I know when I read you Wolf Wolf earlier in the week, I told you that we would be talking about the lesson in it later on in the week. Well, we're ready for the lesson. So before we can get into Wolf Wolf, in your Unit 2 Reader's Writer's Companion, there is another story about the boy who cried wolf. I told you that Wolf Wolf is kind of like the boy who cried wolf, but they changed it a little bit. The original story of the boy who cried wolf is in this book. So if you have it, and I know all of my kids do, you can find it and you can read it along with me. It starts on page, oopsie, make sure I've got the right one. Page 38, and you'll see the boy who cried wolf. And if you do not have your Reader's Writer's Companion with you today, I'm going to read it to you, and you can still listen, and I'll show you the pictures, okay? But alright, this one is called The Boy Who Cried Wolf, and it's a fable. It's going to have a made-up story. It's going to have animals that act like people, and it's going to teach a lesson. See if we can figure out the lesson or the moral that it tries to teach you, okay? Alright, so The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And this is one of those Aesop's fables that I talked about earlier. Long ago, a shepherd boy sat on a hilltop watching the village sheep. He was not fond of his job. He didn't like it one bit. He would have liked something wonderful to happen, but nothing remarkable ever did. The shepherd boy watched the clouds move softly by to stay busy. He saw horses and dogs and dragons in the sky, and he made up stories with these things as characters. There's the shepherd boy sitting there. He's bored. He thinks watching those sheep's kind of boring. Then one day, he had a better idea. He took a deep breath and he cried out, "Wolf! Wolf! A wolf is chasing the sheep!" The villagers ran up the hill to help the boy. When they got there, they saw no harmful wolf. The boy laughed. "Shepherd boy, don't cry wolf unless there really is a wolf," said the villagers, and they went back down the hill. That afternoon, the boy cried out, "Wolf! Wolf! The wolf is chasing the sheep!" The villagers ran to help the boy again. They saw no wolf. The villagers were angry. "Don't cry wolf when there's no wolf," they said. The shepherd boy just smiled. The villagers went quickly back down the hill. There's the boy and the villagers running to help him. That kind of sounds like Wolf Wolf, huh? Didn't the little boy do that in the story of Wolf Wolf? Yeah, he did. Didn't the villagers run to help him? Yeah, but then what happened? Yeah, they quit believing him. Well, That afternoon, the boy saw a real wolf. He did not want the wolf to grab any of the sheep. The boy thought the wolf would snatch one of them for a delicious, tasty meal. A sheep would be a big feast for a wolf. He quickly jumped to his feet and cried, "Wolf! Wolf!" The villagers thought he was tricking them again, so they did not come. That night the shepherd boy did not return with their sheep. The villagers found the boy weeping real tears. "There really was a wolf here," he said. The flock ran away. "When I cried out, 'Wolf, wolf,' no one came. Why didn't you come?" A kind man talked to the boy as they walked slowly back to the village. "In the morning, we'll help you look for the sheep," he said. "You have just learned one of life's important lessons. This is something you need to know. Nobody believes a person who tells lies. It's always better to tell the truth." So, it sounded a lot like wolf, wolf, didn't it? But they kind of changed the end of wolf, wolf, didn't it? Yeah. That's why I said it was a lot like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, but the person who wrote Wolf, Wolf changed it just a little bit to make the story different. This is the original The Boy Who Cried Wolf. So let's talk about it, and then we're going to talk about Wolf, Wolf kind of on your own. I've got a page that we're going to use when we talk about it, okay? So I'm going to pull it up. All right, so there's our page. And you're going to see things that we've talked about before. Characters, setting, problem and solution. Those are all words that we have talked about before. Yeah, when we talked about stories, we knew that they had to have characters, they have a setting, and all stories will have a problem and a solution. Well, a fable is a story, so it has those things too. The only thing different about the fable is the moral or the lesson. So we're going to think about The Boy Who Cried Wolf, the story I just read you. And we're going to see if we can find the characters, the setting, the problem and the solution, and then figure out the moral. So, who are the characters in this story? Remember, the characters are the people in it. There was the boy. Very good. Was there anybody else? All those villagers. Yeah. They kept running to help him even though he didn't need it. And I know a lot of us are thinking the wolf, but the wolf really isn't a character in this story. I know that he comes and he scares away the sheep, but he doesn't even talk in this story. Characters would be in the story and be talking in the story. Since the wolf doesn't really talk, I'm not going to count him as a character in this story. He would be a character in Wolf, Wolf, but he's not a character in The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And remember, that is the one we're talking about right now. The Boy Who Cried Wolf. I'm going to write that up here. They're a little bit different. There we go. Alright, so what's the setting? Where were they at? Because that's the setting. Where are they at? Well, yeah, they're kind of in a field or a meadow. So we're going to write field. Because that's where the boy is. Alright. What was the problem in The Boy Who Cried Wolf? Remember, one of these characters have to have a problem. So which character has a problem? They kind of both do, actually. I was thinking the villagers have a problem because the boy keeps yelling wolf and scaring them for no reason. And then near the end of the story, the boy actually ends up with a problem. Let's try to think of the main problem. What was the main problem in this story? Yeah, I think it was the villagers, how the boy kept yelling wolf and trying to trick them. So yeah. That was our problem in this story. That's when something goes wrong. The boy kept tricking the villagers. And then the solution, and this also says ending, the solution says, how did it get fixed? How did the problem get better? Remember, that's the solution. So the boy kept tricking the villagers. How did that get better? Oh, the boy kind of learned a lesson, didn't he? He learned that tricking people is not yeah, it's not good. It's not funny. Because then they don't believe you, right? So the boy kept tricking the villagers, and how it ended, or the solution was, we're going to say, the boy learned not to trick people. Because, yeah, I don't think he'll ever do that again. He's learned his lesson. He's learned that that's not a good idea. So the boy learned not to trick people, and that's how the problem gets better. He'll never do that again. And we've kind of already talked about this, but the moral of the story, what did the little boy learn? Yeah, he learned that you shouldn't trick people, or you shouldn't lie, should you? Because then people won't what? You're right. If you lie, then people don't believe you. Even when you are telling the truth, they won't believe you anymore because you've lied so much. So yeah, what's the moral in the fable? We can say, do not tell lies. That's what it was trying to teach us. It doesn't want us to tell lies. It's trying to teach us that lying is bad. Our fable organization. So that was The Boy Who Cried Wolf, and we kind of used that paper to help us organize it or help us see what was going on. And we knew that, yeah, we had characters in the setting, a problem and solution, and that fables taught a lesson. So you are going to do the same thing, but you're going to use Wolf Wolf. So, sorry. Here's Wolf Wolf. That's our story this week. Everybody's got your reading book. And I hope that you've read Wolf Wolf at least twice with your parents by now. I'm hoping. If we read our story, we'll remember what it is when we take the test. We'll know what's happened. We need to read it at least twice. But alright, you are going to sit and read Wolf Wolf again. Mom and Dad can read it with you. Grandma and Grandpa can read it with you. Your big brother and sister can read it with you. But you need to sit and read Wolf Wolf again. And then you're going to fill out one of those fable organizers for Wolf Wolf. So you'll have to tell me the characters, who was in it, the setting, the problem, and the solution. And even though it's kind of like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, it's different because they changed kind of the ending, and they changed how the wolf acted. So you need to, don't write the same thing that we did for The Boy Who Cried Wolf, because it's not exactly the same. Some of the things will be the same, but it won't be exactly the same. So I want you to do Wolf Wolf, and I want you to think, what's the characters, what's the setting, what could the problem be, and then what is the solution, and then think, what's the lesson? And yes, I think the lesson in this story, some of it was trying to teach you not to tell lies, just like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, because the little boy learned not to tell lies because people don't believe him. He thought it was funny, but it wasn't funny. But I think there's another lesson in here too. If you think about the end of the story with the wolf, there's another lesson. So I want you to think, what could the wolf have learned? Don't talk about the little boy. I want you to think about the wolf's lesson. The wolf learned something too. What did the wolf learn at the end of the story? Okay? All right, and we are going to talk about this tomorrow, or probably Monday. We'll talk about we'll talk about Wolf Wolf on Monday. So once you get this filled out, we're going to go back over it on Monday and see how you did and see if you figured out what the lesson was, okay? All right. Good luck, guys.